So just quickly before we get into it, I just wanted to throw it to Tom, just to give us a little introduction. So Tom, who are Herdify and what do you guys do?
Yeah, I'll keep it very brief. Best way to think about us is Google Maps for word of mouth. So brands use our software to find where people are talking about them in the real world. So that's offline social influence, which leads to the phrase herd mentality. I'm sure you're well of that. We're going to talk about that today, hence Herdify. That's what we do.
We are, as humans, weird in that we're a massive herd species which spends a lot of time and effort pretending that it is. And this is, by the way, hugely important, by the way, with everything from putting ice in cider, that when you make a behavior visible, you make it easily copyable, okay? It's hugely important with the adoption of solar panels, because there's a lot of data that shows that once people's neighbors get solar panels, the likelihood that someone else does it goes up massively. Guinness has actually found that if you walk into a pub and there's someone visibly drinking Guinness, the likelihood that you'll order it goes up. I can't remember, but it's double-digit percentage, the likelihood that anybody orders. We're much more a herd species than we ever like to admit.
Essentially, make your customers and people around you feel less lonely and you will ultimately win. Yeah. So I guess I wanted to ask you on that as well, like your recent examples of people that you've worked with that have focused on local advertising or local communities to really stand out and gain that success going into 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, local matters for two reasons. The first one is we all have, the reason herd mentality works is we all have a threshold of copying. About 6% of us don't, so these few guys here, they will make an independent decision, the rest of people won't.
Well, there's 6% of people who operate more or less from...
individually.
So is this a neurodiversity, do you think? I'm really intrigued by that.
No, to be honest with you, it's a context thing. So all of us operate in that level at different times. So in some things in my life, I will make a decision, very bold. Most of the time, I won't. The point to illustrate there is the vast, and you need that. You explore, exploit. We need people.
Yes.
The waggle dance. We need people who are going to try new things. Best example is the dancing guy. Everyone saw that video, right? Years ago, 10 years ago. One guy in a field starts dancing. He's in that 6%. We then have a threshold of copying anywhere from some people might see one person, some might need to see 100. The average is about 4 to 7. If you watch that video again, the first few people come in really slowly because there's a really low threshold.
And to be honest, everybody thinks they're
precisely. And then as the thresholds hit, tipping point, bang, that's why that works. And to the point about location, I think it was in your book actually, correct me if I'm wrong, 60% of our journeys are sub 5 miles. I think it was in Transport for Humans. So the point is, despite us coming to events like this and traveling, we spend the majority of our time very close to where we live, which means we get influenced by the people around us, which is why location is super important for us to hit those thresholds that enable mass adoption.
It's effectively statistical techniques that are highly specific to network science.
Exactly that.
So yeah. If we're not using those, we're blind to a large part of what's probably going on.
That's the best summary, because I think obviously marketing is much more than just herd mentality,
yeah.
right?
Although, actually, one of the things I would say is real life is a medium too.
Yeah.
Okay, if you work in marketing, you tend to have this idea that people go around in a kind of bubble and they don't think about brands at all. They're completely uninfluenced by everything they see until they see a bought media message, when suddenly they enter this state of persuadability. But Jeremy Bullmore's great quote is, people build brands the way birds build nests, from the scraps and straws they find lying around. And the behavior of other people probably ranks pretty high, actually, in what influences you.
Agree, and I think that's the kind of the thing that's almost criminal here, that so many people spend so much time on the individual. What's the individual thinking? What does the individual look like? And they ignore the huge swathes of influence that everyone else is putting on us, right? And if you can understand these networks, it's almost an unlock. You can unlock actually how humans make decisions, and that explains why, as a brand, you might have an audience that look the same on paper, 40-year-old dads that, I don't know, whatever, but then one group are really responsive, one are not. This group of dads are all talking to each other and advocating for your brand, either outwardly or just wearing the clothing. They're going to work more than this group, and it helps explain, it provides context to why things work differently.